mission on your pilot's made out that helicopter they're shooting at.
Hey, how you doing? This is DJ, and I am a member of 3 Commando Brigade, and we are a ArmA 3 community which tries to emulate and simulate British tactics. We also design our own mods, including this kit, although my graphics aren't the best, but you can see a rough example here of the vehicles and the other stuff we do. For more information on 3 Commando Brigade, just go to www.3commandobrigade.com, and we are also on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll put the links down in the description. Okay, so this video then is just a brief outlay about TFR, Task Force Radio, and how you can use it to your advantage with the radios. Okay, I'm going to be using all the default buttons for Task Force Radio, bar a couple, but if you wanted to change the buttons, what you do is just go to Configure in the Escape menu, go to Controls, and then Configure Add-ons, and then from the drop-down list, you just want to select TFAR. Now, the ones you want to be looking at mostly, I mean, you can play with this to your heart's content, but you want to make sure that you have your transmit button set. So your short range transmit is default at caps lock, your transmit additional and short range is T, long range transmit is control and caps lock, and the default long range is Y, but I found that this could interfere with the Zeus system if that's on the server, so I just changed it to control plus T. So once you're happy, you can just press OK and get back yourself into the game. So to bring the short range radio up, it's control and P, and this brings up your standard short range radio, whatever you're using on the server that you are playing on, and it's fairly straightforward. The numpad buttons don't work on the actual radio. These are emulated by the buttons on your numpad. So by pressing a button, it will change the channel to the relevant button press. Straightforward enough. To set the frequency, you need to clear the frequency first. So CLR button, as you can see, the hover text will show above all buttons. So if you do forget what the button does, just hover your mouse around the button and it will give you the description. So CLR will clear the frequency. Then using the numpad, you just manually type in the frequency that you want and then press the ENT enter button to set the frequency. Now that's straightforward enough, and as I said before, caps lock then will transmit, and you will get a little indication in the bottom right telling you they are transmitting on the radio. So this case is a short range 152, what channel and what frequency. So what this means is if you've got the radio off the screen and you've been playing around with channel numbers, as you press the channels on the numpad, again you can see in the bottom right hand side the display will tell you what channel you are pressing. So if I go back to channel 4, that will tell me I'm on channel 4, frequency 31.1. Now when I press caps lock, it'll pop back up again and tell me that I am broadcasting on that channel. So let's bring the radio back up again and do a quick description of the other buttons on the interface. So we've covered clear and enter. Now this one here, as it says, will change the channel up and down. However, I believe the numpad is a better option and it's a quicker option than flicking through all the different frequencies. Okay, then you've got the speaker setting. Now on the short range radio, you probably never use this, and I'll come over again with the long range. But by pressing the speaker button, again in the bottom right, the indication will tell you if it's on speakers or headphones. If it was on speakers, every time you had a message over your radio, everyone within a short range of you would also hear that transmission. As you can imagine, if there's a number of you in a section all on the same frequency, there'd be quite a lot of feedback there coming from all the radios and your radio on speaker as well. So ideally, you want to be keeping that on headphones. Then the next one then is set additional channel. Now, long range, again, you'll probably do this more in the long range, but the short range, this could be handy if you want to just set up a communication channel between you and a fire team leader or another section leader who is within range the short range radio on TFR is a range of around 5 kilometers, but then that depends on the terrain. In this kind of situation where there is quite a flat terrain, then you probably get your full 5. However, if you're in the valley, then it may be reduced depending on the lay of the land. So if we want to set up an additional channel, what you do first, you've got your main channel we've set up on channel 4. So we're going to set up channel 1 as our additional channel. First thing you need to do, as before, is clear the channel. Okay, then you're going to type in the frequency that you want to change it to. In this case, 32.1, which on a 3CB server is the 2 troop, and it's the 1 section. So that's 2 troop 1 section. So we're going to press enter, and now we see we've got 2 channels. Channel 1 is 32.1, and channel 4 is 31.1. But at the moment, we haven't got an additional channel set up. So to set up an additional channel, you go back to that button, give it a click, and then you'll get an alpha sign on your channel. And again, it will tell you in the bottom right, I'll just turn it off again on. If you watch the bottom right again, it will tell you that additional channel is on channel 1. Okay, so now if we go back to channel 4, it now tells us that we're on channel 4, we're on frequency 31.1, and the additional channel is channel 1. Now to broadcast on the additional channel, you just press T. So again, you get a squelch noise, which is what you get on any short range radio, which gives you the audible indication that you're broadcasting short range. And then you see the beep there, that's the long range, which we'll get to in a second. So if you press your main caps lock transmit button, you'll see that we're transmitting on channel 4. We have the green indicating that you're transmitting, and when you let go, it'll tell you that you transmitted and you're no longer broadcasting. Again, pressing default T tango, it'll tell you now broadcasting, transmitting on additional channel 1, frequency 32.1. Okay, that's how you broadcast on 2 separate channels but on 1 radio. And the last setting then, the bottom left, is the stereo settings. And what this does, if I just click through, you'll see what it does. It will tell you, you can set your stereo settings, so what ear you can hear the transmission from separate channels is all done from here. So select the channel that you want to change first. In this case, because we're going to be having, if you just got a short range radio, then this is easy enough. So first select where you want to hear your main channel. So we're going to do on the left here. Then we're going to select channel 1, and we're going to do the same again now. And this time you'll see it only changes the additional setting. So if I change it to right only, so now anyone broadcasting on the main channel 31.1 will come through on the left ear. Anyone coming through in your alternative additional channel will come through on the right. And that pretty much is the basics. So just to quickly summarize, the numpad buttons on the radio do not work. Okay, they do not work. You have to use your numpad on your keyboard to select those channels. Then you have the clear button, which clears the frequency. Then you select your frequency by typing in with the numpad. Enter will set the frequency. The next buttons then will change your channel up and down, followed by the speakers button, which gives you either speakers so everyone around you can hear your radio, or just headphones so only you can hear that radio. Then you have your set additional channel. So by pressing that, it will toggle a additional channel on and off. So in this case is now you get that alpha sign, which will tell you it's an additional channel. And then finally on the short range radio, the stereo settings, you can select which ear you can get the transmission. Okay, so that is the short range radio. So pressing escape will get that off your screen. Now to bring up the long range radio, it's Alt and P as default. And the first thing you'll notice is the layout is pretty much the same, okay? You have your numpad buttons and then the buttons around the outside. The difference with this particular long range radio is the numpad buttons do work, okay? So these work. And then if you want to change it quickly, if you think the control button is the prefix for any long range radio button, it's the same thing, okay? So you hold control and you just press the numpad button, and that will change the frequency to, or the channel to whichever one you want to select, okay? So that's the same. So numpad plus control will change the channel. It's the same thing here now, apart from the buttons are sort of around different areas. But the CLR button, again, will clear the frequency. Using the numpad button, you can select, type in the frequency that you want to set, and then press set frequency, and that will change channel 1 to 40. Okay, so that's that. And the transmit on the the transmit on the long range radio, it's control and caps lock. And again, you get that beeping in your ear, you get the transmitting in green, and it's telling you you're transmitting on channel 1. Okay, and let go, it tells you that you've transmitted and no longer can be heard. To set an additional channel, it's the same as short range. By selecting that button, the set additional channel button, it'll give you that alpha sign. Okay, and like I was saying before, all the buttons are different. Okay, they're all different in what they do. The best way to find out what your particular radio they are using is just to hover over the button. Okay, so we're going to change 78.7 to 3.1, which is the command network within 3CB, and we're going to set that now. So on channel 1, we've got 40. So if you were a forward air controller on the 3CB server, then you would be primarily on 40 talking to the pilots, and then on 3.1 is the additional channel, and that is for the command network. Okay, so this is very much similar now to other stuff. The difference, you got an increased volume here, so you can turn the volume up or down to however you wish. You can mix in your radio so they're all different volumes. You can change the stereo settings again, so you can have the additional on one ear, say the left, and we go back to channel 1, and we'll change that to the right ear. Again, if you're using two radios, short range and long range, then you'll find a configuration which works best for you. Okay, the speakers this time, you can again headphones or speakers. Now this may sometimes, if you're on like a mortar team or if you're in a tank crew and you wish for everyone to hear what's happening on the radio, putting this to speakers will allow that. So anything transmitted over your radio that you receive, it will come across to absolutely everyone. And that is pretty much the settings. The alternative additional channel broadcast button is default Y. By pressing that, it will tell you you're now broadcasting on additional channel 2. And again, to get rid of this radio, you just press escape. Now take a quick look at the vehicles, but you'll see the long range radio within the vehicles is pretty much the same as the other long ranges. A couple of things you just have to do to activate a long range radio within a vehicle. So by pressing Alt P, it brings up the long range radio menu. So the Bergen is the one on your back, and then by selecting the Wildcat and then set as active, this will then give you, when you press Alt P, you have to select the radio you want, and then it brings up the radio. And as you see, there's not much happening with visual buttons here. So this is where the hover text comes into its own. Okay, see, as you hover over the buttons, all the active ones will pop up on the screen. So again, clear frequency, set the frequency to 40 for the whiskey elements in the sky, and then we're setting that frequency. You can then change the frequency again by pressing Control and the numpad, or you can use the button here by using your mouse. Left mouse will go one way, right mouse will go the other way. And then to set an additional channel, so what channel was we on? So whiskey was on 1, and then to set that additional channel, again you just press the button and you get the alpha symbol on the screen, and we'll leave that as it is for now, and we'll just switch back to channel 1. So again, when you broadcast now, it will tell you you're broadcasting, and in the vehicles you get a 1 beep. Okay, so you get 1 beep when you transmit, 2 beeps when you finish transmitting. And then again, to broadcast on an additional channel, just Control and T or Y, whichever you've got it set as, and that will broadcast on the additional channel. So that is the helicopter. Press escape to get rid, and then we'll just take a quick walk over to the 3CB vehicle over here. So we'll just quickly jump in. But as you'll quickly see, the gun is probably not the best place to go. Let's go somewhere else. Let's get out. Try again. Okay, so as you'll quickly see, the radios are all the same. So again, Alt-P, select Jackal, set as active, and then Alt-P again, and then just select the radio. And there we go. It's exactly the same as before. I'm not going to get into the other vehicle because it's going to be exactly the same. But that is pretty much it. I'll leave a link in the description to the TFR website if you have not already got this downloaded for your particular server. Also, you'll find a link to our website, 3commandobrigade.com, and I'll also leave a link to our Facebook and Twitter. So until next time, thank you for watching this video, and make sure you check out 3 Commando Brigade. Goodbye.